Hi creatives, I am Dima and you're welcome to another interesting tutorial. In today's tutorial, I'll be sharing with you how to make this gorgeous puff sleeve that you can see on the screen is not your regular ears. Puff sleeves are not made the same way, and trust me, you will want to know how I made this. Then I will also want to explain one or two things on this blouse. I laid the yoke on top. Yes, I hand tacked. I'll use applique to cover it up at the end of this blouse making. Okay, you can see that it did not touch the lining, and you can see what the yoke looks like. Yes, I will just go ahead and show you how I made this beautiful sleeve that you saw at the beginning of this tutorial. Okay, let's get right into it. So to make the sleeve, I started with a basic sleeve. Yes, if you do not know how to make a basic sleeve, check the link in the description. I will definitely put it there. Okay, so to make this, I started with a basic sleeve, exact size of my client. That is what I used to make the basic sleeve. And from the fold, I had to go in by about 2.5 inches. Okay, 2 3/4 inches. Okay, after that I placed the basic sleeve just as you saw here, and I marked the length of the basic sleeve that I want. Okay, I just measured from the lower part, the hem part, just to get the exact length that I wanted, and the length I used is 9 inches. Okay, so I had to trace like this and mark where I wanted it to get to, that is 9 inches, and I had to remove the basic sleeve and draw my horizontal line at that level I want the sleeve to get to. So after doing this, I am going to go up here by about 3 inches. Okay, you can use 2.5 to 3 inches, but I used 3 inches, please. So what I used here is 3 inches, and I had to curve that end like this. Okay, after doing that, the next thing is just to go ahead and cut this out. So after cutting out, I just had to go ahead and get my fabric, the fabric I'll be using for this tutorial, for this pattern making. Yeah, of course I'm making a dress already, the blouse that you saw at the beginning. So this is the blind of the lace, and that is what I am using as the blind of the sleeve as well. So you can see how I folded it. It's already folded. I folded the first time and then again. Okay, so it will give me two sleeves at the same time. So I folded just the way you are seeing it on the screen. Okay, so now I had to go up by about 4 to 4.5 inches. I'm marked there, and watch closely to see how I blended it to the sleeve I made earlier. So that is how you're going to do yours, and this is just to give the puffiness, the extent of puffiness that you want at the cap part of the sleeve. Okay, so that is what I did right here. So this has nothing to do with the length of the puff sleeve. I have to mention this here. It will just control the affect how puffy this is. If you want it to be puffier, you can see that it just had to do with the puff and nothing with the length. The length remains the 9 inches that I took earlier. So I will also cut out another sleeve to use and make the lining. So what I used here is self-facing for the sleeve. Yes, I use self-facing because of the way the sleeve is going to be. It's big, like it's away from the arm, and somehow you'll be seeing the lining part of the sleeve, and I thought that it is better if the lining is the satin fabric. By the way, what I used is doll face satin fabric for this blind. So the next thing is just to interface. I used two interfacing. One is hairstay and the other one is peplum stay. Yes, you know peplum stay, the regular one you use to make your peplum to stand. That is what I used on one, and that is the lining part, and of course hairstay on the part I used as the fabric. So you can see the peplum stay part, of course, is stiff, and this is the hairstay part, and it is soft, just as you can see. So that is what I did for this. I'll just go ahead and cut this out on the lace. So this is the remaining lace after making the blouse. So I will just go ahead and use this and cut out the lace, and that is it, just the way you can see me do. I folded it twice so that I'll get two sleeves at the same time. Yeah, So I'll go ahead and cut out just as you can see me do, as simple as that. And the remaining lace I'll keep aside to use it as lace trimming and, place as a form of applique on, all of those ends of the net on the yoke that I did not cover. Yeah, I'm going to use it to cover it up. I can mix it with applique as well to make it beautiful. So I'm going to just join two of these together. This is how I'm going to join. Note that I joined the part that I used hairstay to structure or to interface. That is the part I used with this lace. Yes, I'm going to stitch it all around and show you what next to do. So right here I've stitched it all around. I bonded the lace fabric with the fabric part of this, and this is how I'm going to stitch it down. Okay, so I'm going to stitch it, and right here I have stitched it down just as you can see, and just ensure that you notch, and this middle notch it really nicely. Notch to the stitch and not to the seam and not through it. Please be careful not to notch through it. So I'm going to top stitch and watch how I pushed the seam allowance towards the lining part. Yes, I pushed it towards the lining part and top stitched. Yes, you can see that this one I've top stitched it. Okay, and you can see the excess here. So I'm going to do the same thing with this one. So you can see the top stitch and how I moved it to the lining part, which is the part with the peplum stay. Okay, and I top stitched. So this is what it looks like. It's quite easy to top stitch, trust me. Okay, so after doing this, I am just going ahead to turn it inside out really nicely, and then this is what it looks like. I'll go ahead and iron, and you can see the excess already. I'm going to go ahead and stitch all of that and then trim the excess. After stitching it, you can see what the excess is like. I ironed and stitched it together, and this is what the excess is like. So I'll go ahead and trim off the excess for the second one as well. Very, very important. Okay, trim it nicely before we go ahead and start stitching the sleeve here. So this is what we have, and you can see how neat it is looking already. So this is the puffy nature of the sleeve already. You can see that is already giving what it is supposed to give. If you've not subscribed at this moment, go ahead and do so, and you will not have any regrets joining this family. There is always something new to glean on this channel. So you can see what I did here. I'm just going to go ahead and join this together and watch closely to see what I did here before I started forming my puff. So this is a basic sleeve that I cut on the mesh on the net. Okay, so I'm going to just stitch it straight and get to a point and then puff it up, but I'll show you what I did. So I measured from this place about 2 inches. I marked it. Okay, so I'm going to put a notch there. I'm going to put a notch on the both sides of there. Yeah, so this is what I did to know where I am going to start forming the puff sleeve from. So I'm going to place like this and stitch straight. When I get to that notch, I'll start puffing and make sure that the shoulder notch, that is the cap notch, matches with the cap notch on the basic sleeve, and also make sure that the other end matches, okay, the end of the sleeve. And you can see what I have after forming the puff. You can see how I formed a sort of kissing pleat at the cap of this, so that the pleats will face up from both front part and back part. And you can see that I did not start from the beginning to stitch it down. You are going to see why I did that. Now this is why I did that, so that joining this will be quite easy. So now this is why I left that space before joining the two sleeves at the cap. Okay, so I'm going to use it and close this up with the appropriate seam allowance, and after that I'll push it in and stitch the mesh down like this, as easy as that. And after stitching, this is what it looks like. Then I'll just go ahead and turn it inside out. It is so easy. Yeah, even if you encounter a little difficulty in turning it inside out, trust me, it is not what is difficult that you will complain about it. Trust me. Okay, so after doing it, this is what it looks like. The next is just to attach this beautiful sleeve on the top, and yeah, just go ahead, go to your machine and stitch it to the armhole of the top, as easy as that. And you can see how nicely it is matching. Ensure you check my basic sleeve tutorial to know how to make a perfect basic sleeve, not the one that you will make and it will be bigger than the armhole or smaller than the armhole. Yeah. So after doing that, this is what I have. You can see the gorgeous top. What are you still waiting for? Now I have trimmed even the lace patches and just placed it with my dressmaking pins on the neckline of the yoke. It has not been tacked at this stage. So I had to go ahead and show you what the back looks like as well. Yes, the back is so nice. Are you going to try it out? Try it and let me know what your result is. I'll see you in my next one. Love you all. Bye.